Welcome students, this is your video for Monday 11/17/2014. We're going to learn how to write equations in slope-intercept form. What we've been doing up until this point is taking equations and transforming them into slope-intercept form, but we haven't been writing them from other stuff. We've just been transforming equations in standard form or in different other forms into slope-intercept form. We do know slope-intercept form at this time. It's y equals mx plus b. We try to get everything y on the left side. We try to get our number with the x first and our number that's a constant by itself at the m. The steps to writing in slope-intercept form is you've got to be able to find the slope, you've got to be able to identify the y-intercept, and then you just plug them in. So if someone tells you the slope is 3 and the y-intercept is 7, then it's as easy as writing 3 goes in for m, 3x, plus 7 goes in for b, 3x plus 7. So if somebody tells you the slope and the intercept, it's really easy to write the equation. We'll see as we go through it. It's a little bit more complicated than that when we get into some of the other representations, but if they just give you these two things, it is that simple, and that's what the first few examples are. Here m is slope and b is y-intercept, and so all we're doing is taking y equals mx plus b, and we're placing the 3 there and the 2 there, so we get y equals 3x plus 2. That easy. Here's our slope again. Here's our b, or our y-intercept. Remember, it's that number by itself. So y equals mx plus b. 1/3 goes in. Negative 6 goes in. So y equals 1/3 x minus 6. Again, here rate is another word for m, or for slope. And b is b. So y equals mx plus b. There's our m. There's our b. Y equals negative 2x plus 0. And then we know that we would drop the 0 because we wouldn't write something that doesn't really exist. So y equals negative 2x. Here again, we're just given our slope and our y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. 0 is our m. 3/2 is our b. So this would be y equals 0x plus 3/2. Again, we wouldn't write something that doesn't exist, so this is just y equals 3/2. Okay, so pretty easy if you're given the slope and the intercept. Just plug them in and you have your answer. If you have a table, you can use the slope formula to get the table, or you can use that counting method that we did before, but each time you have to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So let's start with the slope. From 13 to 17 is plus 4. From 1 to 2 is plus 1. So it's 4/1, which is 4. So our slope is 4. Remember the y-intercept, we looked for 0 in the number, so it is right there. So 0, 9. So when we have these two, y equals mx plus b. 4 goes in for our m, 9 for our b, so y equals 4x plus 9. Okay. On this one, same type of thing. From negative 4 to negative 7 is down 3. From 2 to 4 is up 2, so down 3/2. This is our m. Now we're going to search through the table for our b. Right there, looking for that 0, so negative 1. So there's our b, so y equals, instead of mx, it's negative 3/2x. Instead of plus b, it's minus 1. When I look at number 7, I can easily calculate the slope, but I can't see the y-intercept. I can't count backwards to 0 because 0 is actually right in there. So I could try to figure it out, but this is really one where you'd be better served doing stat edit. So if I plug these into stat edit on my calculator, negative 1, 1, 3, 5, 7. Then on the L2 side, so this is my L1 side, this is my L2 side. And then I put 2, 6, 10, 14, and 18. Stat calc 4. I'm told that A is 2 and B is 4. And when I write my equation, A is the slope, B is the B. So y equals 2x plus 4. So, and you guys have a lot of practice on stat edit, so that part will be pretty easy for us. Okay. Again, here I see my y-intercept. So my B is 3.5. These decimals worry me a little bit, so I'm going to jump from 3 to 2. That's down 1. From 2 to 6 is up 4, so negative 1/4. This is my slope. So I have my b and my m, so negative 1/4 x plus 3.5. We might not like this decimal and fraction mixture, so I can type in 3.5 math 1 enter and find out that that's 7 over 2. So these are both acceptable answers. Again, this one might be good for doing stat edit, but one thing I notice is that over here it's always 4. So at 0 it's also going to be 4. So my B is 4. My M, the difference here is 0, and the difference here is 2. So 0 over 2 is 0. So I have an M of 0 and a y-intercept of 4. So y equals mx plus b, so that's 0x plus 4. We wouldn't write a 0x, so y equals 4. Number 10, could stat edit all these. My b is 4. My slope from 4 to 2 is up 2. From 0 to 1 is up 1. So my slope is 2 over 1, or 2. So I have them both now. Y equals mx, 2x, plus 4. Got it from a graph. To do it from a graph, you've got to pick 2 points and count out the slope and find the y-intercept. For me, it's easiest to find the y-intercept. Remember we were highlighting this the other day. Here's the y-axis. Where does my line hit the y-axis? And it's easy, it's right there, which is positive 1. Now I've got to count out the slope, so that's a good point. So here's another good point. I get in the elevator, always start with the left point, up 1, over 2. So my slope is 1 over 2. So my equation, y equals mx plus b, 1/2 is my m, 1 is my b, so it's y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Again, draw down my y-axis here. Hits right there. That's negative 1. Find another good point right there. Down 1 over 3. So down 1 over 3. So plug that in for m, that in for b. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. Okay, this one's interesting. When I draw it down, it does not hit that. So I would write none. It does not have a y intercept. It doesn't cross it. So that should trigger some things, some question marks in your head. This one's weird. My slope, if I pick a point here and a point here, I go down 2, but over 0. When I type that in, I get a big error. And so again, that triggers weird things. And so when you get all these weird things happening, this is the slope of undefined. And this is something new, so make sure you pay attention. Undefined equations start with an x, which is weird. So question marks are weird. X starting is weird. What's that point that it crosses? 1, 2. X equals 2. This is the only x equals equation that we have is a vertical line. I want you guys to give 14, 15, and 16 a try. Try to find our m and our b for each one. And I'm going to help you find some points here. That's a good point at 0, 0. And then we could jump up to 2, 2 is a good point. Here, 0, 5 is a good point. 1, negative 5 is a good point. Here, 2 is a good point. And 2 there is a good point. So you guys give those a try. I expect to see answers here. I want to see my y equals equations at the end, not just my m and my b. One last word problem to kind of finish it off. Amy opened her bank account with 100. She adds 30 each month. So we're always looking for a starting amount or initial amount. So this is what she started with. So that's our B. She's adding this each month. So that sounds like a slope to me because they're doing it each month. So that's our 30. We go to write our equation. Y equals 30x because that's our M plus 100. That's our B. 4 years. So we got to figure 4 years is 48 months. So y equals 30 times 48 months plus 100. So I'm going to type that in. 30 times 48 plus 100. She will have $1,540. Then I'm trying to see when will she have 730. That's actually a y amount. So y equals 30x plus 100. Y is 730. And so this is an actual solving problem. If I don't like the 730 over there, I can move it to the other side. Cross it out over here. Minus 100, minus 100. 30x equals 730 minus that is 630. And when it's beside it, I divide it. So I divide them both by 30. 630 divided by 30, 21 months. Make sure you bring this in by Monday.